Well, hello and welcome to another Nord of the Lord video tutorial series. We've got the Nord Stage 3 here. We use this keyboard at our church and it's just so robust. We talked about in part 1 how to kind of navigate yourself around, and the fact that it has three engines, an organ engine, a piano engine, and a synth engine. And you can set them up on panel A, and then you can set them up again on panel B. So it's kind of like you have 6 keyboards in one. Today, we're going to look more in depth with the organ engine. And it's the first of the 3 engines. You can turn it off and on independent of the other 2 engines. And it's got its own volume control. The master here affects the entire keyboard with volume. Turn it on here, and here's the volume control just for the organ. Loud, softer. It also, by default, starts you in all 4 zones. That just means if there are no splits, that means that you'll hear organ on all 88 keys, the bottom to the top. Okay, and yeah, this is such an authentic sounding organ simulator. I just love this thing. So let me give you a little tour of what the options are. It starts with the Hammond B3. That is my favorite. I use it a lot. But you have the Vox Continental. You have the Farfisa. You have a Pipe Organ 1. And a Pipe Organ 2. Okay, let's go back to the Hammond B3. Again, I use this the most, and it starts with all the drawbars out. But something I wanted to let you know right away about the setup with this is, by default, the sustain pedal is not on, but I do like to have the sustain pedal activated for the organ engine, and you can turn it on and off by holding down shift and hit the sustain pedal. It's on, so that means and on a real Hammond B3 you wouldn't actually have a sustain pedal, but I find it helpful to be able to hit a chord up here and hold it while I do other things down here. So I've got the sustain pedal activated. These digital drawbars are just like physical drawbars that you'd have on a real Hammond B3. Each one covers a range of overtones or a certain frequency of overtones. And so with them all pulled out, it's the brightest. And as you back them off, all the way to its root overtone, this root tone. And we add them back in, and we add the full bright tone. And this is something that just depending on the song, you'd want to shape it differently. Okay, some other things about the Hammond B3 that would be good for you to know. I love to engage the Rotary Speaker, and so that section is over here, and you have to tell it to go to the organ. So it's on synth, so double click. Now it's on the organ. And already you can really tell a difference. It's just got so much more of a depth. So much of a depth of tone to it. And so it represents like a Leslie speaker, where the speaker can rotate or it can be in the stop position. So right now it's stopped, but you can hit it to fast. Now it's fast, you can hit it. It slows down, hit it again, speeds up. See how that works? So I am constantly hitting stop and fast and going back and forth, and it just depends on the song and how you want to build the energy. So have fun with that. Also, I really like this drive. It just adds a bit of an edge. Or like some distortion to it. So you can grab that and kind of shift that. Also, to make it sound even more authentic, you can turn on the percussion. And what that does is it simulates the, on a real Hammond B3, there's kind of some clicking that goes on. And actually I like to, I don't know why it puts it on volume soft, but I think I'd take it off volume soft. And do you hear how it has a little bit more of like an attack to it? A little more of a bite to it. So I usually like to have percussion on. Especially a more energetic song where you kind of want to like dig into it a little bit more. Let's see, there are some vibrato options that can add even more depth to it. Let's turn that on. And cycle through the different types. You hear a little more warble to it. So that one, I don't know. Sometimes I turn it on, but sometimes I just really like to lean into the Rotary Speaker. Back and forth. So that's just all according to your ear and your preference. But I tend to not use vibrato or the chorus effect as much because I just love the Rotary Speaker as kind of the main effect that I really want to have come through in the mix. Alrighty, and I think it'd also be good to show you how to attach these overtones to the mod wheel. Actually, before I do that, some different shapes that I often use. Pull them all the way out. If you're gonna like take a lead or it's you need it to really cut through the mix and it's a very energetic song. But the dark organ, this is kind of a dark organ setup where maybe the first 4 stops. Hear that? With some drive. Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah, so sometimes at the start of a song, start with a dark organ. Another type, you can make it kind of sound like a flute if you scoop out the middle. And again, there's really no right or wrong here. You should experiment. By the way, I brought up my test program. I showed you how to do that in part 1. So probably go to your test program with your initials to experiment like this. But if you kind of scoop out the middle, see, it'll take out some of that drive. It's just a little more fluty sounding, which is a common thing that we kind of go for with the tone to sound like a flute. And sometimes I'll kind of do a dark organ, but I'll taper it like this, something like that, where it's, oh, that sounds pretty good. Okay, and then what can be a lot of fun is maybe, start with it like this, where it's kind of on the dark side. And then attach the mod wheel to these drawbars so that in the middle of the song, you can use the mod wheel to increase the brightness or the overtones to it. And you do that by going to this Morph Assign category and hold down the wheel button. And while you hold down the wheel button, come over here. And so we've got these dots represent the starting points of the wheel. And then you'll move it to the end points. And after you've done that, let go of the wheel button. And now, with the mod wheel, you can bring the overtones in. It's a really handy way of, while you're performing, bringing the overtones in and out. So you're kind of manipulating with the mod wheel the overtones, and you're engaging the rotary speaker. You're sometimes adding some drive. All those are really good techniques to use. Okay, now, of course, you could try out all these other organs. Sometimes I'll just show you pipe organ. I think it sounds really good. And pipe 2 is really nice. So yeah, that can work really well. And actually what I want to do is I'm going to bring it back to the B3, and let's go to panel B and open up a pipe organ without any of these rotary effects. So I'm going to turn on the organ engine in panel B, and I'm going to go to what's on pipe organ 1. And we're going to attach it to the sustain pedal so that it'll work with that. So hold down shift and sustain pedal right here. Let go of shift. Sometimes I think it sounds good to combine a Hammond B3 and a pipe organ. So we can do that by, on panel A, we've got our B3. And panel B, we've got our pipe organ. If we hold down both A and B, we get them both layered on top of each other. If you think it's like too much of the pipe organ, what you can do, and a reminder, the one that's flashing is what you see on the LED screen. But if they're both lit, that means that they're both engaged and coming through in the mix. So right now A is flashing, that's our B3. Let's say I think the pipe organ's a bit too loud. I'm gonna hit B, that's flashing, pipe 1. And now we can just roll this volume down a bit. Yeah, that's kind of nice. So I think that Hammond B3 and pipe organ combo is pretty good. Now to go back to just hearing one panel at a time, hold down both buttons again. And now you can toggle back and forth and it'll do one or the other. Okay, other things that you might want to know. You can always add reverb to your pipe organ. Just turn that on, and already there's a lot of it. Like a concert hall, maybe you just want, I often use stage, and reverb maybe 12 o'clock. Yeah, that's pretty good. No reverb, a lot of reverb, somewhere 12, maybe 1 o'clock is often what my ear hears to be a good amount of reverb. And any of these effects you can apply to the organ. I don't use a whole lot of other effects because I just work this rotary speaker so much, and I think that and that's what you do on an authentic real Hammond B3. You would be just working this section the most. A couple other fun techniques for you. Let's see, we still have our mod wheel attached here. So like at the start of a song, if it's a little bit quieter, it's this nice dark organ. Use the drive. And as the song gets more exciting, just bring that in and out. Rotary speaker. there's a song we do called Holy Water. That it's like this really big sound, and so I sweep up to it and I sweep out of it, and so that's a good technique to learn. And you could do it with your left hand. You could sweep up with your left hand and then hit the right spot in your right hand, and then when you sweep down, you'll sweep down with your right hand, or use like your fingernails in your right hand to go up to the note that you want. Practice that a bunch of times, landing on the right note. Maybe hold that note, hit that, and sweep down. God, I'm on my knees again. God, I'm saying please again. I need you, Lord, I need you. On down that lonely road, beautiful water for my thirsty soul. I need you. Oh yeah, your forgiveness. So the sweep up and the sweep out is a technique used with Hammond B3 organ playing a lot. And so try that out. And yeah, have a lot of fun with this thing. And remember, if you like what you've done and you want to save it, hit store and then hit store again, and it'll save it under your program. And yeah, stay tuned for our next video. We'll cover the piano.